Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the main event. Let's get ready to rumble!
And that's right, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of the Best Seat in the House podcast. And I'm your host, Rob Cramer, alongside, as always, my co-host, Daniel Bobo Kurlan. Dan, we are recording this after Game 2 of the Subway Series here in New York, right after a thrilling Mets 3-2 victory at Citi Field. Dan, what's your instant reaction? How are you feeling right after this great game?
Oh, I'm stoked about that win. I probably went nuts. By the sound of my voice, you can tell I probably lost my voice after that game. And it was an eventful day. For one thing, like a little bit like 40 minutes before the game starts, I get a text from a friend of mine, Ben. You probably know him, Ben Ratner. He tells me he's waiting for like the payment or something for the ticket to the game he made, right, through some payment app. And he made the payment through a payment app. I don't know what source he used to buy the ticket, so I can't. But anyway, so as he's waiting for like waiting for the respond and everything, I hop on the bus to the subway, and so I have the ESPN Plus app open to watch the game. And as I get to the platform, I get a text saying that, fortunately, Ben, he was scammed. And they said, no worries about it. I know it sucks that happened. Luckily, it was before I got the train. Unfortunately, it was right after I had just paid, right? Mm-hmm. Actually, I already paid the moment I got on the bus. It's a free transfer, as you know. For those in the area don't know, the MetroCard's a payment system we use. They get free transfers from bus to subway or subway to bus, like which me kind of benefits from that because I got to take a bus to get to the subway. So as I'm on the platform, I exit the train station. I reload the MetroCard, exit the station, and I just picked up some food from Donovan's to go, just burger to go. then headed on the subway back to. I mean, that's the way I headed on the bus back home to where I live. And I'm looking at the game, and as I'm on the bus and stuff, I saw Pete Alonso's home run.
Yeah, that was a great home run that Pete hit today off Domingo Germán. But just like you said, man, I mean, well, by the way, I love the fact that you got the Donovan's plug in there, the patented Bobo Donovan's plug. So very, very cool about that. We could already check that off our best seat in the house bingo today. And, so we, and definitely with a great game like that, why not celebrate with some great food from Donovan's, because it was a thrilling game. I mean, we'll talk about this one right now. Obviously, this was game 2. But we'll touch on game 1 in a minute. But, man, between Scherzer being so great tonight, 7 shutout innings, I think he had 6 strikeouts, just a couple of walks. The guy seemed like he was locked in. And anytime he got himself into a jam, like when he had first and third and 2 outs and Aaron Judge coming up, and he's able to just throw him sliders, get him off balance that fastball, and then finish him off with one more slider. Man, what a great night for Scherzer, right?
Yeah, that was a great night for Scherzer. Unfortunately, he didn't get the win. Unfortunately, our bullpen coughed up that time run. But then late in that game, Sterling Marte, I just had a feeling it was going to happen.
Yeah, I agree. I had the same feeling with Marte, too. I said it to my girlfriend, right, before he ripped that single into left field. I totally agree, man, that Marte just seemed like he was ready for that moment.
Yep, exactly. Went nuts, and that was such an emotional win. I'm glad we pulled off the win. Now We got a day off tomorrow, and hopefully we could somehow muster up a win against Alcantara. Ugh.
Yeah, Alcantara on Friday is going to be tough, but on a great day and really great 2 games for the Mets, where they took game 1 6-3 behind Taijuan Walker, and they took game 2 tonight, 3-2, but they had a 2-0 lead. The Pete Alonso home run, they scratched out another run to make it 2-0. And in the 8th inning, when they pulled Scherzer, I got a little worried when I saw David Peterson warming up. And I like David Peterson a lot. I was just really hoping that Buck was getting him some work in the bullpen, because the next time he's going to pitch is probably not until next Saturday in the doubleheader against Atlanta, where he's probably going to get one of those 2 games at Citi Field. But, I was hoping he was just getting that work in the bullpen, but obviously that wasn't the case, as they brought him in to face Rizzo to start the 8th inning, and obviously he has to face the 3 batters, as the minimum rule now. But, man, what did you think about that David Peterson move? Because that just scared the hell out of me. I don't understand why Seth Lugo just didn't pitch the whole 2 innings.
Yeah, I think he should have went with Lugo there for the whole 2 innings. I was nervous about that the moment we went to the bullpen. I was not going to feel calm until that game was over.
Oh, yeah.
Just like that meme you may have saw me post last night that said, "I can't keep calm. I'm a Mets fan."
Yeah, exactly. That's very, very true. Actually, we retweeted that too on the Best Seat in the House Twitter. So if you want to see what Dan's talking about, check us out at @bsith_podcast. But totally, man. I thought that it was just it was a head scratching move, especially since the fact that Seth Lugo hadn't pitched since this past weekend. He obviously didn't appear in game 1, and we knew that Edwin Diaz wasn't going to be available tonight because he got that incredible 4-out save last night. Where, let's just talk about Edwin Diaz for a minute, Dan. How great has this kid been? He, as bad as he was in 2019, the opposite now. He's that good now. Like, it's crazy that he has had this kind of turnaround.
I have to admit, I still can't really I can't fully feel calm being our history, but Diaz has gotten me close enough to that. As close as that.
I totally agree with that too, because my heart rate still definitely goes up a little bit, but man, he is building that confidence every time he comes out. I was looking at this stat earlier today. It's mind-boggling. The guy has thrown 40 innings this year, and he has 81 strikeouts. He's averaging 2 strikeouts an inning. He's averaging 17 or 18 strikeouts per 9. It really is the season that he's having, for the Mets franchise for the most part right now. Who knows what he's going to add on to for the next 2 months? It could even be a major league record-setting type season. But the season he's having right now is one of the best relief pitching seasons in Mets history.
Yeah, he is. This guy is having this season for the ages and it's not often we could say that with the closers wearing that uniform.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. Because me and you talk about it all the time, where the Mets closers over the years. Guys that we've gone through just in our lifetime. Look, Jesse Orosco got the last out, but he was a tightrope walker every once in a while. Obviously, John Franco always scared the hell out of me. Braden Looper, Billy Wagner at times even was scary, especially in the playoffs. Armando Benitez is another big one. Is there anybody else you could think of? Familia?
Yeah, Familia.
K-Rod.
On Alex Effin Gordon.
Yeah, and who's another guy in the Mets bullpen that's having a great year that really should be recognized? That's Adam Ottavino. Just to think the season that he's had right now, he looks similar to. He's not as dominant, but he looks similar to that dominating reliever that the Yankees signed from the Colorado Rockies. And this guy was just getting everybody out. And it's really awesome to see Adam Ottavino and that slider could come out of the bullpen and just set guys down. Even last night against the Yankees, he couldn't get that final out to complete the 2 innings, which is why they had to bring in Diaz for the 4-out save. But that guy is having a hell of a season right now. After a couple of shaky ones with the Yankees and his most recent year at the Red Sox, which was up and down.
Yep, it's about right. But thank God he's been getting the job done, and I have a feeling we got a good bullpen. Now we're just hoping for some more moves at the trade deadline.
Yeah, I agree. And you know what? I think that it was a combination, as we were talking about David Peterson coming out of the bullpen. Now, look, we all know that David Peterson is a starting pitcher by trade. He's made a couple of relief appearances this year, but they were more along the lines of long relief situation, where he was piggybacking one time and he came in a couple of blowouts as a long reliever. But for the most part, he's a starting pitcher. And I think one of the things that Buck Showalter was trying to do tonight, aside from forcing him into the game just to get him some work, I think what Buck was trying to do is maybe see, because it was specifically, I think, for the fact that he was facing Anthony Rizzo, Gleyber Torres, and then another lefty. Now, obviously, he walks Rizzo on 4 pitches and then serves up the opposite field 2-run shot to Gleyber Torres, which was a heartbreaker. But, I think what Buck was doing was seeing if Pete Peterson could adapt to a middle relief role, because obviously once DeGrom, and that's the next big thing we'll get into in a minute, but Jacob DeGrom made his final rehab start today and is due to rejoin the rotation on Tuesday in DC. So do you think that kind of played a role, Dan, that, maybe Buck was testing out Peterson in a relief role in a close game?
I believe that's what was happening. And speaking of DeGrom's rehab start, watching that this afternoon. It was
I was watching that too, yeah.
.tv app, and I watched it. And it looked like he was more trying to kind of get all those other pitches in order, and seeing if he can maybe figure out how to scale back to try to try to stick around as long as possible. Yeah,
actually, while we're on it, let's just cover it now. As obviously DeGrom started in Syracuse today, like we said, he threw 4 innings and 67 pitches. Now, I was really hoping that they sent him out there for the 5th inning to at least start it and get somewhere in the 70s to maybe even 80, because he came out in that 4th inning and had a 6 or 7 pitch inning. Actually, I think it was a 7-pitch inning because he ended the 3rd with 60 pitches. Now, he had a couple of rough moments. Obviously, he had 3 walks today. He served up that 3-run shot. He served up another home run. But, I think even Buck Showalter kind of alluded that Jake was working on a couple of things today. He was trying, from what I saw, it looked like he was trying to get the grip on his breaking ball and was just really working through a few things. What did you think when you saw that, Dan?
Yeah, that's what it looked like. This was pretty much one more spring training outing, the equivalent of, before he gets ready for his start in DC.
Yeah, exactly. So, we'll be looking forward to that Tuesday in DC. Jacob DeGrom will be starting against the Nationals, most likely. Let's keep our fingers crossed and light all of our candles and say our prayers that Jacob DeGrom doesn't feel any tightness in his arm or soreness or anything like that over the next 5 days, and we actually see Jacob DeGrom in a regular season game for the New York Mets for the first time since July 7th, 2021. It's crazy that it's been that long, right?
Yeah, it's crazy it's been that long, and also hope goes that well, and no one steals Jabu's rum at my house.
Exactly. And you know what the really cool thing about the DeGrom start on Tuesday is that since Scherzer started today, the Mets are probably going to keep him on regular rest now, and I could see them starting him on Monday in DC. Now, nothing's been announced yet, but I would think it lines up pretty well that Max Scherzer would be starting the Monday game in DC. So how cool would it be that right out of the gate, we're going to see Scherzer on Monday and DeGrom on Tuesday? That's pretty damn cool, right?
I'm excited about the prospect of that myself.
Yeah. And then, if you add Chris Bassett to that mix, which obviously he's been here all year, he's starting on Friday against Sandy Alcantara. And yeah, actually last week I was calling Sandy Alcantara Sergio Alcantara. So I'd like to apologize for that. Sergio Alcantara is a former part-time player with the Cubs or something, I think. I don't know what the hell I was thinking, but Sandy Alcantara, who's going on Friday against the Mets. But, Dan, let's focus on this Subway Series again for a minute because, man, a 2-game sweep, which sounds weird to say, but 2 games. Taijuan Walker in game 1, I mean, he gives up that opposite field home run shot to Aaron Judge, the second batter of the game. Then he gives up the opposite field home run shot to Anthony Rizzo right after that. Man, how are you feeling after the back-to-back home runs and Taijuan Walker, maybe making you think about last year's second half again?
Well, for one thing, first I got to say, one day I meant to say, as you saw me mention earlier, and we did mention it on the air when I said that my friend was scammed. I got to say, whoever scammed Ben, you're on the Shizer list. Whoever scammed.
That's true. Anybody who scammed Ben Ratner and Mr. Daniel Bobo Kurlan over here out of Subway Series tickets is definitely on the Shizer list, courtesy of our good friend Eastside Dave. Which, by the way, too, loved your appearance on the Eastside Dave show. The Eastside, the Davey Mac Sports program. I'm sorry. Really great job on that show. Awesome job.
And I just came up with some of the craziest stuff I could say for that show, and it's good to see Dave and Roy again.
Absolutely. Those guys are hilarious. I love that show. I will always watch it. I will always support it. So please check out Davey Mac Sports with Bobo this week, Daniel Bobo Kurlan as the special guest. Definitely a lot of fun, and you'll laugh your ass off and be highly entertained.
And not to brag, Dave, but
But yeah, Dan, so look,
I just remember, I just thought, we got this. I kind of said, no, you know what? After those 2 home runs, I said, don't give up anything else this inning. That's not a big of a deficit for us to overcome. Yeah. Well, in that deficit.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, of course, I went nuts, and that whole game, I could not be calm until the last out of that game. And then after Eduardo, that home run, the whole time we got the bullpen, we had to go. We wound up being in a situation where we had to, where Diaz had to get a 4-out save. Somehow he came through. We did it. I lost my voice after that game as well. Had to hit up the cough drops. Same thing today. I'm gonna have to hit up the cough drop before I go to sleep. But worth it. And
definitely worth it.
Hopefully we can continue our winning ways on Friday, and hopefully every member of the Six Borough Club packs the stadium in Miami. For those you don't know, I call it the Six Borough Club. Is the name I refer to for Met fans that live in Miami, in the state of Florida. Call them the Six Borough Club.
Well, that makes sense because there's definitely a lot of New Yorkers down there, and it should be an entertaining series, especially with the you got to hope that coming off the emotion of this series victory against the Yankees, well, a sweep really, that it carries over the momentum against the Marlins, because the Marlins are going to have a very light team too. A bunch of guys went on the IL, and they got a really banged up roster right now, highlighted by Jazz Chisholm, pretty much missing most of, if not the rest of the season. So the Mets hopefully have a floundering Marlins team. Thank you very much. And I think that the you got to hope that this confidence carries over. But boy, what a hell of a Subway Series. The Yankees come in as the best team in baseball, actually, record wise. Still just a few games better than both the Astros and the Dodgers. But man, what's your confidence level coming out of this now? We took 2 games from the best team in baseball.
I just have very good confidence. I just have a feeling that it's very possible there will be, when we look back at my pictures from 2022, there will be photos of me at the Canyon of Heroes.
From your lips to God's ears, bro.
For that matter, there'll be photos of the both of us at the Canyon of Heroes.
You're right. We'll do a live show from there if the Mets close the deal, right?
That will be there. Be at the parade at the Canyon of Heroes, and there'll be a post-parade burger at Donovan's after.
Oh, you got that right. And a lot more than that, too. That'll be one hell of a celebration. And, I got to say that I think winning a World Series this year, as you saw, look, this Mets team showed up. Winning a World Series this year is a realistic goal with the teams they have, especially with DeGrom joining the team again next week. And look, we're standing right now, we're recording this episode on the evening of July 27th. So we're just a couple of days away from the August 2nd trade deadline, which still sounds weird to say to me. I'm surprised it's still not July 31st. But, they're keeping it.
I'll be checking my Twitter feeds like a lot.
Oh, yeah, because that Steve Cohen in the front office are going to be burning up the lines. Actually, Buck Showalter had a funny thing to say tonight about that. He said he was trying to get in touch with Billy Epler, and he said that Billy Epler is the type of guy where, if you call him, he's picking up on the first ring. And he said that the last couple of times he's been calling Billy, Billy hasn't been answering, which means that, and he said the only reason he knows that Billy wouldn't be answering his call is because he's working the phones, trying to swing some deals right now. And, you got to give it to the guy, because, he's working a lot of different angles right now. And the Mets have a lot of different possibilities, especially, what do you think? The Mets swung this trade a couple of days ago for Daniel Vogelbach, the first baseman DH from the Pittsburgh Pirates. They gave up Colin Holderman. What's your reaction to that deal, too? I wasn't quite sure about it at first because I was a fan of Colin Holderman, but I really like this guy Vogelbach.
I'm liking him so far. I feel it's a small move. That's probably a bigger move. That's going to be, and I just have a feeling the person we're most likely to pull off at the trade deadline is going to be JD Martinez.
Wow. So that's your bold. Let's put this in bold print right now. This is Daniel Bobo Kurlan's bold prediction. You are saying that the Mets are going to get JD Martinez from the Boston Red Sox?
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing.
Wow. I would love that. There has been some rumblings about that. And actually, Chaim Bloom, the Red Sox general manager, came out today and said specifically that they're not shopping Xander Bogaerts, their shortstop, and Rafael Devers, their third baseman. And it's funny you mentioned JD Martinez, because I thought that it was very curious that he didn't mention JD Martinez's name. And, Although it makes a lot of sense because I don't think it would make any sense for Boston to trade those other two guys. But JD Martinez makes a lot of sense, especially if they're going to kind of fold the tent a little bit and, understand that they're probably not winning the World Series this year. So you trade JD Martinez, who's an expiring contract, maybe you get some prospects that help you out in the future. What do you think about that? Do you think that, JD Martinez do you think that's the bat the Mets need to take this lineup to the next level?
I believe so too. Yeah, I believe that's the bat they need. Hopefully, it'll finally have another bat behind Alonso, which might increases our chances of hit opportunities for Pete. Well,
Yeah, I agree too. I'm a big fan of JD ever since his Tiger days too, and ever since he went to the Red Sox, he really took his game to the next level. And he's had a decent season this year too. He's battled injuries. I think he was actually in the All-Star game too. Although you wouldn't really look at it from his numbers because he's played in a limited amount of games. But yeah, I think that type of guy would add so much to this Mets team and clubhouse. He, to me, would be like the Max Scherzer of the hitters and everyday players. You know what I mean? Like he's that type of guy that has that kind of gravitas with that group of players. Like Max Scherzer, obviously is the leader. Once DeGrom comes back, it'll be with DeGrom. But Scherzer's definitely the leader of all the pitchers. And you get a guy like JD Martinez in there, and he's got that same amount of gravitas too. What do you think about that?
yeah, I think it's got the same impact.
Oh yeah, and it's another guy with a championship ring in that locker room too.
Yeah, so fingers crossed this happens, and I'll be celebrating the moment it happens. I have my radio tuned to WFAN a lot these days around a trading deadline, especially with the Mets in contention right now.
Yeah, what's that?
Hopefully Billy pulls it off.
Yeah, you got to give it to Billy. I love this prediction, man. I think that's a realistic option. The Mets could definitely eat the rest of that salary and help the Red Sox out a little bit there. There's also been word about a Cubs trade with Wilson Contreras, the catcher, and David Robertson, the relief pitcher, the former Yankee, coming to the Mets in a deal. What would you think about that? Do you think that's something the Mets should explore?
That's also a deal I feel that might be a great one as well.
Yeah,
get that and another bullpen help as well.
Yeah, definitely. Adding Robertson to that bullpen would be great. Also, Trevor May is on the mend right now. He's going to be back very shortly. They said, Trevor May is, I think they want him to appear in 2 games this weekend. So he's going to appear on Saturday and he's going to appear on Sunday. And they're going to give him off on Monday. And actually, he could be in the bullpen available the night that DeGrom comes back too. So the Mets could have Trevor May and Jacob DeGrom activated both in the same night. So that would be a really big boost to this bullpen. But they definitely still need to add a lefty, especially with as bad as Joely Rodriguez has been lately.
Yep, definitely. So hopefully he pulls it off. We'll be in good shape in the second half, and that's big second half push.
Yeah, no doubt about it. They're definitely in great position right now to have a big time second half push as the Mets right now move on to Miami after this this big Subway Series sweep. The Yankees are heading on to Kansas City, which interestingly enough, the Yankees swung a deal right at the very end of the Mets, of the final game here, like basically right after the final pitch, it was announced. Did you hear about this trade the Yankees swung tonight, Dan.
Yeah, I heard about that. That's probably a good move they made. Only time will tell to see how it turns out.
Yeah, picking up the former World Series champion Andrew Benintendi, who was also an All-Star this year from the Kansas City Royals, who they're playing this weekend now. So interesting series of events there. I guess he'll travel with the team actually, I'm not sure if it's in Yankee Stadium or not. If it's in Kansas City, I guess he'll just go back with the Yankees. So very interesting that Andrew Benintendi traded from the Kansas City Royals to the New York Yankees. That's a nice trade for the Yankees. I think Benintendi is perfect for Yankee Stadium. You stick him in that lineup. That's a little bit of he's not hitting for power anymore. Although you never know at Yankee Stadium, this is the type of guy that they could turn back into a power hitter. What do you think about that? His power potential now that he's going to be playing at Yankee Stadium.
It's going to be a hit or miss. That's what describe it.
Yeah, no doubt about it. He's the type of guy that can really take advantage of that short porch at Yankee Stadium. So nice move for Brian Cashman, who is adding to the best team in baseball, the same best team in baseball that just lost back-to-back games at Citi Field against the New York Mets. Just really, really two awesome games. The walk-off win tonight. One person too that I do want to give a lot of credit to, and not let his additions or whatever you want to say, his accomplishments in these couple of games go to the wayside, is Eduardo Escobar. He's had a really tough year. Never really has been able to get going, but he had the big 2-run home run in the first inning yesterday off of Montgomery, right after the Pete Alonso game-tying RBI single. Then Escobar hit the go-ahead 2-run shot, which was a very clutch, big hit that really set the tone of the game too. And then tonight, he leads off the ninth inning against Wandy Peralta with a double down the line. Really, really good signs from Eduardo Escobar, who the Mets definitely need to get hot in the second half, right, Dan?
I mean, the moment he got on base, I said, we got this right here. It's going to happen. I just had a feeling that whole bottom of the ninth, it's going to happen.
Yeah, and it was 2 of the off-season additions. Well, actually 3 if you count Scherzer. So very, very, I'm thinking about this right now for the first time. We're doing our instant reaction, so I really haven't had much time to think. But yeah, actually, it was a bunch of off-season acquisitions that got the Mets through tonight, as Max Scherzer contributes with 7 shutout innings of great baseball, no doubt about it. Then we get the big double from Eduardo Escobar. We get the game-winning hit from Starlin Marte. So, man, guys in their 30s who the Mets gave guaranteed money to, coming up big right off the bat here. You got to appreciate what you see there, right?
Definitely got to appreciate that. Thanks for getting us win. I'll sleep easy tonight.
Yeah, no doubt about that. We're all going to be sleeping easy. And, speaking of sleep, we're going to keep this as a short episode tonight, just an instant reaction one. Episode 21. We're going to keep it a little short tonight, unfortunately. We're recording it late, as like I said, we did it right after the game, just to make sure this was as up-to-date as possible for our audience. And also, we're probably going to throw in a bonus episode somewhere down the line to make up for it. So don't worry too much if you're annoyed that we cut it a little short tonight. So, but before we get out of here, Dan, you want to give yourself a little social media plug?
Sure. My Twitter account, Bobo 103 NYC. You could also follow me Instagram, Bobo718DK, and Daniel Kurlan on YouTube.
Yeah, definitely. And make sure to follow and like and subscribe to Old Dan stuff there. You can check us out on Twitter if you want to check out at bsith_podcast. You can also check my personal Twitter account at Cramer NY. And check us out at Best Seat in the House Podcast on Instagram too. So hey, two big wins from the Mets. What's that, Dan?
On the Davy Max Sports Program.
Oh, I'm sorry. Plug that one more time. It cut out your audio.
Watch my appearance on the Davy Max Sports Program.
Yeah, absolutely. Watch Dan on the Davy Max Sports Program, one of the best shows on the internet and in the world, for that matter. Check that out. He's available on YouTube. Check out Eastside Dave on actually I think it's Eastside Dave TV on YouTube. Check him out there. And a great appearance by Dan, like I said. And so check all of our stuff out there. Thanks again, everybody, for tuning in. Two big wins from our Mets this week against the Yankees in the Subway Series. Two more games at Yankee Stadium next month. And who knows, maybe these two teams will be colliding in October for all we know. It's going to be a fun ride till we get there, right, Dan? That's right. And so once again, I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight to our Subway Series special instant reaction show here. I'm Rob Cramer with my co-host Daniel Bobo Kurlan, and this is the Best Seat in the House podcast. Have a great weekend, everybody.